Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint, the only West Ham United post-match football show on the internet. We're at the Stonegate. Stonegate have invited us down to the Sports Bar and Grill in Canary Wharf, which thank you very much for doing that. They've given us a few beers, and hopefully we'll be doing it a lot more this season. So yeah,
this season we've got one more game left.
Or next season. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Sorry. So yeah, post-match pint back for the lot. It's pretty much the last one of the season.
Yeah, mate, it is, unfortunately.
Season. We've just come back from London Stadium, of course. David Moyes' last game, of course. West Ham 3, Luton 1. I'm mixed emotions today. I'm going to be honest. I'm mixed emotions. I know I've been a lot like David Moyes out, David Moyes in, David Moyes out, and all that sort of stuff. I'm a bit mixed emotions. I do appreciate the job the guy's done, but the first half of me epitomised why I want him gone.
Yeah, that was painful. That first half, I literally sat there, I put my sunglasses on and I was just having a siesta because it just was like the team was on their holidays, was on the beach, and it sort of exemplified what we've seen this season. I think that's especially sort of the second half of the season. So thankfully, the players seem to turn it around.
Do you know what? It had, I agree with that. It had pre-season vibes.
Yeah. Do
you know what I mean? It was almost like the players didn't want to exert themselves. And in credit to Luton, for the first 5-10 minutes, they did stick it on us. Do you know what I mean? They were in the ascendancy.
Well, it was big for them, wasn't it? It was a relegation battle, yeah.
Absolutely, and it was amazing to see, they had 5 players in the box. Do you see what I mean? When they were crossing. And it was just lackluster. So, yeah, I totally agree with that. Pre-season vibes for me, that's what it looked like.
I mean, that is the thing, though, mate. It was like pre-season. It was that bad that the section me and Dan sit in, nobody sits down.
I was there.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone sat down.
Yeah.
It was that, it was just like, we're on a summer holiday, watching a pre-season game, going through the motions. And let's be honest, some of the defending in that first half was a lot like we're going through the motions. Do you know what I mean? It was atrocious.
That's been our defending all season, Scott. We have now we've now. This is going to be a running thing, isn't it? I'm the only blood who has to hold his mic. But we've now officially had our worst defensive season in the Premier League. We've overtaken. That's it. 71 goals conceded. We've overtaken Avram Grant season for worst defensive season. So that's been all season, Scott.
Just to add to that as well, if you look at our last 4 games, so we've played the same back 4, right? And we've conceded 15 goals in the last 4 games. That basically, do you know what I mean? In fact, no, actually, 13 goals, sorry. Do you know what I mean? So that kind of says it all in 4 games. It's crazy.
Yeah, playing defensive football at the same time.
And that's the worrying thing, and that's what I said. I think Nicky summed it up well when he turned around and said that the first half and the second half is why we get frustrated with Moyes, because we can see what we can do, but we were getting more of the first half this season. And it'd be interesting to know, do you reckon that was the oldest back line in the Premier League today?
Not of all time, because we had that against Liverpool a few seasons ago with Zabaleta and Patrice Evra.
What I mean, the oldest back line in the Premier League this season.
Yes, I do think so. Yeah,
you're probably right. Because Thiago for Chelsea's old, but in terms of in comparison to the other players,
but he's playing alongside that 22-year-old.
Exactly.
And that is the worrying thing. That's the worrying thing for me. Is I said this last night on Friday Night Pint. Is that I think that Moyes is leaving at the right time, but I think the squad is worse now than when he first came in.
Yeah,
that's the thing. And
I've done it. Squad. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's not to say we have better. We have some better individuals, like Kudus, Paqueta, Bowen, are some of the best players we've had. But as an overall squad and the health of the squad, I think we're weaker overall. And we need a lot more work now than when he came in. I think that's fair.
Yes, I don't think he's leaving us in a good place. I really don't, because I look around that squad now. I see a lot of people's last games today. Ogbonna's, last home game. Ogbonna's definitely going. He got the substitution at the end.
Yep.
It was sort of passing of the torch. You see Cresswell come on. He's not going to come on unless that's his last game.
Yep.
He wasn't going to come on. Then you got, whoa, what the fuck's that?
Is that this?
That's someone putting it. That's
Oh,
someone
right.
putting it.
Silly sausage.
Sorry.
Fucking hell's bells.
No one could hear that. There was a big high pitch whistle.
Well, they will hear it. The people who are watching on the internet.
I know, but
they'll
these
hear it.
people here, they can't even hear us.
No,
These
I don't
people
think-
here.
yeah, they're wandering around doing anything. We've got a crowd here, a little crowd here.
We got a crowd and they can't hear us. They just
Can you hear us?
no.
A little bit? No? No?
We should have
But
subtitles.
it's not worth listening to anyway, I promise you. But yeah, so it's a few people's last game. I would imagine it'd be Danny Ings' last game. It's
Yeah.
Lucas Paquetá's last game. Home game.
Hopefully not.
It is going to be his last game. It's absolutely. it's
No,
gonna be.
because people say that, but I don't think it's a guarantee that Man
Yeah.
City come and sign him. And the way his performances have been, I don't think he's going to be as much in the shop window as he has been.
I think his performances have come because he's going to Manchester City. That's already arranged. It's already arranged.
I don't buy that.
If that charge hadn't come at the beginning of the season, he would have been gone.
Yeah,
He would have been gone.
I think it's
100%.
an interesting point. I think you're right, Nicky, in the sense that a lot of those big performances happened as a result on the back of Man City touting him. But as we've all seen as fans, and a lot of people have commented on, his form has tailed off towards the back end of the season.
To be honest with you,
Yeah.
for the player he is, Brazil's number 10, for how good he is, I think it's insulting the way he's been playing. I think it's insulting.
Brazil's number 10 on the left wing.
And this is the thing for me, right? This is, again, what really frustrates me more is we see today, we set up with Paquetá playing left wing, Kudus playing the number 10. We got Brazil's number 10. We got Brazil's number 10 that showed when they played
And
England
Ghana's left winger.
how good he is can.
Let me counteract that, Scott, right? Because I've said
Here we
before.
go. Put him in his place, Brian.
No, because me and Scott, I tend to agree with Scott generally. So the thing is, with this one, with the Paquetá situation, I have actually said I don't think he's been effective in that 10 position. I actually think he's had more impact on games when he's featured on the left and he's doubled up with
And he comes in.
Emerson. Yeah, like because he almost comes in like he has a free role.
Yeah,
so he
yeah.
doesn't exclusively stay on the left. But in terms of impacting games, I think today, as bad as the first half was, I think he had probably one of his better games in the last 6 weeks. And I think being on the left has contributed to that because he has that little link-up play with Emerson. And I've actually been dying to see what Kudus can do as a 10. So I was interested to see it, but I don't think Paqueta's. I don't see him as a 10 personally. I think he's kind of in between. I think he'll be good in a midfield three, anywhere along the three.
Yeah.
I don't think he's quite playmaker.
I think it worked when we had Bowen up top, Kudus on the right, Paquetá on the left. They were in those positions, but they was like free flowing. No one was like, right, you're going to stay on the right.
Yeah.
They all switched in and
Yeah,
were quite fluid.
But not being funny, next season I want to see us have a striker. And I get what you're saying. The link up between Paquetá and Emerson's brilliant. But I just feel 10 isn't his role. Playing alongside a defensive midfielder is his role because he likes coming and getting the ball. And we saw it today. Look, he gets a lot of criticism because he doesn't run as much and doesn't do as much. How many times did he play a forward-thinking ball that put a Bowen through, a Kudus through? And this is the thing for me, is that if you're letting him go and we're keeping a Kudus, a Bowen, and then potentially signing another striker, you've lost that creative spark. He sees passes that no one else on that pitch does. And you see that in the Conference League final. When we played that final, would a Souček play that pass?
No.
Would an Alvarez play that pass? You need that type of player to pick out the runs of them forward-thinking players. And that's what worries me. If we lose him, we lose that.
I'm not going to be funny, right? But we haven't got a lot of that at all. We haven't got a lot of that at all. With
Walt Prowse is the only other one.
He's the only one, but I just think this is my opinion, right? So it's not fact, but that is just the way Moyes plays. He doesn't allow that to happen. You can see it today, and I see it when Earthy came on. Earthy's making these darting runs through the centre, waiting for that ball to come over the top, around the corner, and that. It just doesn't never come. It never comes.
Yep.
And that is the way he plays, right? And anyone can say anything, right? But I watched last week at Chelsea. We're getting beat 3-0 at half-time, yeah? And the players are setting up. I'm watching, it wasn't him, but it was his assistant, yeah? There was the players pushing up to press, and he's telling them, no, get back to the halfway line, get back to the way that the whole club is set up under Moyes, and you know we're going to get into the Moyes chat in a second. But the way the whole thing's set up, it's just set up to do that. It's just defend, and then go up the wings.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's a point you mentioned, Nicky, a month ago or so on Talk Sport, where you referred to the team set up as Sabutio, fixed within your
fixed
positions and zones. And I think that cracked me up because it was a good analogy. But also the comment that Moyes said last week with regards to saying that he feels that we're, you know, in order to kind of accommodate with what the fans are saying, we're playing with too much attacking players and probably should have one less attacking player and a defensive player. That kind of justifies that argument.
I mean, you look. Right, let's go back to Phillips' debut. 4 defensive midfielders, no wing play. 4 defensive midfielders set up in a diamond, which absolutely did not work. Yeah, I mean, but not once this season can I turn around and say he tried something attacking. You know what I mean? Not once. I can't think of a single time.
I think what he's done is his justification is the front 4, isn't it? Having Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen, and Antonio for that last section, he kind of sees that as, well, that's the attacking setup of the team, and he kind of wants individual brilliance. I'm guessing.
But that is the only reason we're as high as we are.
Yeah.
Losing at half time today. Yeah, I don't know what this does. I haven't even looked at the table. Losing at half time today. A guaranteed loss, more or less. The most guaranteed loss you'll have in a Premier League season against a team fighting for the title, that need to win it for the title. A team that's on the beach, that packed in weeks ago. It's the most guaranteed loss. But I forgot what point I was going to make. But what? No,
want some food.
No, I'm all right, thank you. I'm working you.
But I think the thing is with the team, with the players, what I've noticed is, yes, we have the attacking players all on the pitch, but they're not set up to succeed in the way of them.
It's just get that ball up to the 3 of them. There's no support. You see that today in the first half. There's never any support in the box.
But
there's never anyone coming in late in the box.
The 3 of them, but this is the thing, the 3 of them are never up there. When we counter-attack, never up there at the same time.
No, because he drops it behind.
Yeah, so Kudus will make a run, and then he's running into like 3-4 defenders. There's no one to lay it off to because everyone else is miles back. We defend corners. No one's left on the edge to break. We've put everyone in the box.
You see that today when Areola gets the ball. He gets the ball from a corner, runs to the edge of the area. No one. And that epitomises Moyes.
Yeah.
Of that 11 men, you don't need 11 men in the box to defend a set piece.
I don't see the point, and I've said this all season, right? 11 men behind the ball at all times, and we're conceding 5s and 6s.
That's
regularly.
Yeah.
Like more regularly than there must be a record here somewhere. We've conceded 5 or more 5 times.
Yeah.
No, that's I doubt that makes.
I'm sure 4.
Yeah, I'm sure we've
more
done
than
that.
4.
More than 4, 7 times.
More than 4, 7
7
times.
times.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've done that in previous areas.
Yeah, Fulham.
Sorry. I'm sure we've done that under Pellegrini or Bilic.
I don't think so.
But Pellegrini's era, we was doing it against like Man City or Liverpool. It weren't like Palaces and Fulham.
Palace don't get me wrong. Crystal Palace are in good form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but not 5-2
but
good
it
form.
just shows you what you get from going from an old dinosaur manager to a forward-thinking attacking manager.
Yeah.
But that's the difference. You look at Palace's front line now that they're all fit. They walk into a lot of teams in the Premier League.
No, as good as Palace's front line are,
they're not better than
our
ours.
front line's better.
Yeah.
Listen, our front line's the best out of the top 4.
Yeah.
Out of the top 4? Out of the top.
Outside the top.
Outside
the
I
top
was
4.
gonna
Sorry.
say,
Sorry, outside the top 4.
whoa.
Yeah.
Wheel it
I'll
back,
rephrase
Scott.
it. Yeah.
First half
Outside
of the
top 4.
season.
Yeah. but if you look at it, right, you look at City's front 4 or front 3, right? You look at Arsenal's front 3. Then you look at Liverpool's front 3. Okay, they're misfiring a little bit, but then look beyond that. We got
Crystal Palace is good.
Crystal Palace is good, but ours is better.
Yeah, I believe.
I would say, you know what it is, right? We could argue that first half of the season up to Christmas 100%.
Yep.
But where those individuals in our team have tailed off at different points, even the ones that have still maintained the level of scoring 7s out of 10s like the Bowens and Kudises, their form has still dropped off.
Yeah.
So they're kind of individually, but we've got no cohesion as a team. Whether we attack or defend, there's no real cohesion in our team identity because we can't defend as a team this season. We haven't really got an identity anymore.
The one thing I say about Moyes, as much as I don't think what he does is sustainable for the long term, I think he's got a short-term window league-wise, but his football and what he's done in the league, you can't in Europe, you can't take that away because we have been phenomenal every time we've played in Europe. Results-wise, unbeaten in the Conference League. Villa found out it's hard to even win it.
You can't base every season on Europe.
No, you can't.
At the end of the day, you're a domestic team. You get in Europe on merit.
Yeah.
You've got to merit that by doing it in the league.
But
we don't do it in the league.
Yeah, but that's why we don't keep
David
him.
Moyes has been. Listen, this is he's been special in Europe. I'm not even.
That's what I was saying.
Even the Leverkusen game, right? You look at Leverkusen, unbeaten season. If they win the last couple of games, right, and they've got the Conference League final, the Europa League final, obviously, they could go a whole season invincible in every cup they've played in and every league game, right?
The greatest achievement ever,
Yeah, they've been in a league with a Champions League finalist and a Champions League semi-finalist. Yeah, that's unbelievable. And we give them a game.
Yeah,
we give them a game.
But the problem is that you showed them too much respect out there.
That is the thing.
You only had to play one half.
We give them a game. Yeah.
Yep.
Out there, we've done the same thing. It was David Moyes' tactics. If we'd have just give it half or more percent out there and not conceded the second goal.
Well, this is the thing.
That was always the problem with him, and that was always the problem with his whole reign. He gambles on going out there, getting a short loss. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Because one time, and I've said this over and over and over again, there's going to be one time, and I remember speaking to Ian in Freiburg.
Ian?
Don't worry about
Some
it.
bloke called Ian.
Yeah.
He spoke to Ian.
A guy called Ian
got nothing
in
left.
Freiburg, He just said, we've conceded one, but if we concede another one, we're fucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he done that over and over and over again. And unfortunately for him, there was 2 late goals. Yeah, we defended for our lives, but it was a pathetic performance.
This is
pathetic.
But people will. A lot of people argue is that it almost works, right? It almost works. But here's the problem with Leverkusen. You do your
almost not working.
A lot of their goals come late in games. So while you're sitting there going, oh, it's still 0-0, like we're nearly there. This is Leverkusen. This is what they've done all season: is get these last-minute goals. This is why that didn't really. That was never going to work.
The way we approach some games, I'm pretty sure he didn't do his own work in a lot of them. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that
Well, I think that it was said. I think Stuart Pearce said that he doesn't change how he plays based on the other team. He just plays his way.
Yeah.
And regardless, whoever he's
so
running.
I got a little bit of information about how they train. Yeah.
Oh.
And it's very much opposition based.
Yeah.
It's all opposition based. So they look at the opposition.
So he does his own work then?
No, not at all. He sets his team up to stop the opposition. Not in terms of like, oh, this is who we're playing, this is how we're going to play. It's like, this is how we're going to stop them.
Yeah.
Not this is how we're going to attack them. Not this
is how we're going to beat them.
Danger man on the left.
Yeah.
Let's block those
crowd
channels.
him out. Right. Stop this, and then all of a sudden they'll rock up and they've got like complete different tactics, and he's fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that is a frustrating thing. Is this is where his downfall and the stubbornness and what you class as a dinosaur in him is that he doesn't adapt his style to suit the game that he's playing. Right. And that is the first. Look, there's you can tell the difference between a manager and a world class manager, right? A world class manager in game adapts what he's doing.
Yeah.
He changes what he's doing in game. Whether it's 5 minutes into a game, 20 minutes a game, 80 minutes, he adapts into his game.
I think dinosaur's harsh, though. I think it's harsh.
But it's not harsh, right?
I think I think the modern game has moved past, in terms of the Premier League, how Moyes plays. I think he would be great as an international manager. In
Yeah, but
cups.
that's the difference. Is because international football is completely different.
Yeah.
Just going back to what I was saying when we were talking about Southgate. You look at, he's a great international manager. He can't cut it at club level. And he won't cut it at club level because he's too friendly, he's too nice. You can't be like that. You have to adapt.
But in
And
the
that's
short
why you
term, he
get-
did cut it, though. We have to admit that. In the short term, for the few seasons, he did cut it. But long, it's a long-term project.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
I personally, I think, like, you both make valid points, and it's a thing for me whereby the game has moved on in terms of his philosophy of football. And I think the turning point for me was the season whereby...
We got the game up. Hey.
Yeah. For those that are watching, we've got the games up on the screens. And
There we go. We give you our live reactions.
But the turning point for me was the off-season when we brought in Skamaka and those players. So Moyes sort of publicly said, right, okay, now I'm going to change our style. I'm going to change what we do. So I thought to myself back then, I thought, okay, he's evolving. Do you know what I mean? He's going to kind of like evolve and go back to the lockdown era, which was the best Moyes era, right? But what happened was he tried to change the system at first.
There he is.
But the playing style didn't change. So he changed the system and the personnel slightly, but the philosophy was the same. So when you're watching it, it looked like nothing changed.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So
I think the biggest thing, and I see a video the other day someone shared, and it was from a good few, I think when he first came back, and he said, obviously, first I want to focus on staying in the league, but I want my teams to play attacking football.
Yes,
that's what I
saw that.
And he also said the Red Bull model.
He wants to take the Red Bull model, which is bringing in youngsters.
Yeah.
Now, right before we go on, is there anyone here watching that wanted Moyes to stay? Anybody?
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Shut up, Dom.
Don't say that just for good. Did you want him to stay? Anyone?
Wait. That's not.
No.
We know Dave wanted him out. Yeah, we know Dave.
Do you want him to stay? David didn't. He didn't.
Disown him.
So
Disown that
yeah.
boy.
My son just said he won us a trophy.
That's fair. He did.
Right, listen, and I've said this publicly, right? Sam fucking Allardyce would have won us that trophy.
Nah.
He would have, mate.
Not having that.
It's a different competition. That season, with the players we had, it's a different competition. It's different competition. Every season is different competition. The Premier League next season is different competition because there's different teams in it.
Yeah, no,
It's different.
It's the same. It's the same competition, but it's a different
competition.
Yeah, it's the same.
No,
it's the
but-
same competition. There's different teams in it.
Mate,
It's a different competition.
yeah, but at the end of the day,
competition.
but you look at it this way, right? Villa, yes, you know they played Olympiacos, whatever, but they were dropping points early. They lost to Legia Warsaw. They lost to other teams, Leicester.
Listen,
and Spurs.
I'm not saying that.
Spurs got battered
I'm not
by
saying
Farmers.
David Moyes would, Sam Allardyce would have won us that trophy, invincible like we did, but he would have won us that trophy. We had an easy
Look,
one.
there's two things that David Moyes.
That's harsh.
There's two things that David Moyes has done that I'm grateful for, but one of them is equally his downfall, and it's nothing to do with. I'm not going to say about winning the European Cup. Yeah, one was he brought us stability. Yeah, he came in, saved us from relegation twice. Actually made us work a bit harder, looked more structured and defensively stable. That's the first thing, which I don't think none of us can deny. The second thing which he done, which is almost a double-edged sword, is he raised our expectations. Because he got those two, seventh place finishes, we started to bring in people, players that were decent on paper, like the Haller and everyone else has come after that. What it done for us as a club, it raised our expectations.
I don't think he. This is the and the word. I agree in a way, but I don't think he raised. I think since we moved, we've always expected that we should be competing in these positions. But he did give us a belief that we could achieve it.
Right.
And I think that's where our expectations have always been. West Ham, from moving to this stadium, we should be in Europe. We should be competing for Europe. But once
I agree.
after that first season,
maybe,
we was like, this season we're going to get there.
That's what it is. Yeah, maybe he has been a victim of his own success. Yes, it hasn't been pretty. Yeah, and this is where I want to praise the guy because, every week, the way you talk about him, it just seems you're talking about negatives. You know what I mean? Like,
Because the football's negative.
because the football's negative. But let's put the facts down. Yeah, we was a mess. We was a fucking mess. Yeah, the guy came in, he stabilised us. Listen, lockdown season, unbelievable. Jesse Lingard coming in, stroke of genius. Yeah, but there is bits of me that thinks to me, just a stroke of luck. You know what I mean? Because he can't get the best of the Hallers, who's now playing for Dortmund in a Champions League final. You know what I mean? Like, he can't get the best of Skamakas, who fucking tore Liverpool to pieces. You know,
In the final again.
in the final again. Yeah. So, this is the thing, right? It makes me wonder, like, was that just a stroke of luck? But stabilise. Yeah, I'm not saying that the guy's a good man manager. I think he's a bad man manager. I think that's why a lot of the players are as shit as they are, because like the four Nowses, the Ben Ramos and that treats them like shit. You know, there's Alex Crowell who famously turns around and says, like, he didn't fucking talk to me all the time, and I sat in my car and cried my eyes out. That's bad man management. But right, club-wise, not team-wise, not player-wise, but club-wise, he stabilised us. He gives us European football. Fact. No, there's no one that can deny these facts. 3 seasons on a pro, and he's given me the best days as a West Ham fan. Me, personally, yeah. So he has to take credit for that. He has to. You know what I mean? And there's nobody out there, whether you're Moyes in, Moyes out. You know what I mean? Listen, there's some people that have never had him. You know what I mean? Like, and I can't see why there was some people that never had him when we was finishing 6th, because we was playing decent football. Yeah. But that was the only time we played decent football. The rest of it has been pretty diabolical, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he's left us scored in a bad way. But backing all that up, he's given me the best days, and I'll never forget.
of course.
I'll never forget him.
Yeah.
That's the God's honest truth.
There's a difference, and that's what I've tried to say to people, is just because, you know, he's done great in the past, and you all accept that, but you don't decide to keep a manager based on what they've done, but what they're going to do, the future. You've got to look forward.
The shelf life, it's gone. It's finished. It's done.
And this is what I was waiting. I'm waiting for people all the time to challenge me on this, because I was on the Talk Sports, and I'm thinking they're going to challenge me and go, "Oh, what has he done?" I would love to know, for people that think we shouldn't sack Moyes, when is it okay? We haven't even sacked him, but when would it be okay for us to let him go? If it's not okay now, when we've had our worst defensive season in the Premier League, when the squad is in shambles, if it's not okay for us to part ways now, what would it take? Because I don't think it's healthy to run a club that, okay, we part ways with a manager when it's complete chaos. Like, when everything's burning down, then you've got to be forward thinking. You've got to be proactive and not reactive. And at a time when you are sort of stable, it's a good time to change. Before everything does crash and burn. And I think we've made the right choice.
We should have done it last season.
Yeah,
we should have done it last season.
We couldn't, but we should have.
Yeah.
We couldn't, but we should have.
And it wasn't done based on sentiment. And Dan's right. If it was any of the main European leagues, they would have got rid of their manager. If it was in Italy, if it was in Spain, they would have got rid of their manager based on last season.
We didn't get rid of him, Brian, based on European form.
Yes, that's what I mean. Sentiment from that.
Our domestic form, and I said this, like, you cannot base every season, and the success of a manager just based on European alone.
Yeah.
You can't.
But
Because next season we're not in it.
Yeah, but if you look at the start of the season, our form was pretty good.
Yeah, fair play.
So, and this is the thing, it's only died off since January.
Nah.
It has. It started. We
you
had
are
Well,
right.
we did get back.
Christmas.
No,
Yeah.
wait, hold up. But
28th of December.
we did lose 5-0 to Fulham in December.
Yeah, we lost 5-0 to Fulham in December with
then beat
after
Arsenal
squad going down with
Yeah.
a virus.
But that Arsenal game, in which was a good win. But
Yeah.
still, we was backs on the. And listen, I'm not going to take anything away from us. But the signs were there in December.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? Is that
the problems were showing.
People complain about, the football shit, it's boring football and all this type of thing, right? Make your mind up what you want. You could be entertained week in, week out, finish mid-table, right?
I know
You can. You can, right? Or
I'm waiting to jump on you, Scott, because I know where you're
but
going.
this is the thing, and this is what frustrates me, right? You can be entertained week in, week out, finishing mid-table, right? But if you get a manager that approaches games the right way, so when you're playing a Luton, Sheffield United, you set up and you play that entertaining football, but then you get a City and Arsenal,
but
and you
that's-
play
no,
that
nobody-
football
nobody's
going to
Gunner
complain.
football.
Nobody's going to
That's
complain.
the balance.
If
But
you-
people do.
No, they won't. Of course they won't. If you played an entertaining game against the Lutons,
Yeah.
the Sheffield
Yeah,
United,
you wouldn't complain,
and went out and absolutely fucking demolished them, like we should have been.
Yep.
Like we should have been. Like the Evertons of
Yep.
the day. We sat there like the Crystal Palace.
Yep.
At back when we had them at
Yeah,
home,
yeah.
when we just fucking scored a goal and we sat back. Yeah. So if you go out there and fucking smash them, when you come up against the Arsenals and you know, listen, we should never lose 6-0 against anyone.
Exactly.
Let alone fucking Arsenal, Man City, but when you come up against the Arsenals and the Man Cities and I was going to say Man United then, but definitely not. But you know that sort of quality of a position, nobody's going to complain if you sit back.
But
But
that's
when
the
you're
thing.
doing
But
the
they
same
do.
thing, whether it be Man City or Luton Town, there's no management.
Yeah,
in
No,
that.
he
but no,
is
and that's what I
defensive
get.
Bielsa. That is
Yeah,
the thing.
but
He
that's
is
the thing.
defensive
It's
Bielsa.
opposite.
He's the anti-Bielsa, yeah. They are.
No, I get that,
Reverse
right? And this is what I'm
Bielsa.
saying. And this is what I said. I've never been Moyes in, Moyes out. I've always been, he annoys me because we set up like we were playing Manchester City every single week.
Yes.
There's no change. That's what annoys me with him, right? But people need to realise sometimes boring football wins you trophies.
Yeah, but it's not winning us a load of trophies, is it? Let's
No,
be
but
honest.
it's won us a trophy.
It has won us a trophy.
Yeah.
Listen, in
been-
Europe,
mate,
I think
I've been
we're
bored to
excited
death
because
over
that's
there.
just the way it is.
Yeah, I wish we played in Europe every week under Moyes.
The thing is, the whole European thing, we were a bit more of an unknown entity in terms of the teams we were going up against, and I think that kind of done us a
It
favour.
just suits the style.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it suits the style.
suits.
Yeah, it suits the style as
Yeah.
well. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause it's almost Atletico Madrid style. Do you know what I mean? Keep your shape, keep zonal, and hit teams on the counter, and it works in European football. But
Yeah.
Listen,
But-
right, let's get back to the game. David Moyes.
Do you know what? Like, I tell you what, and it's sad, you know, David Moyes, you feel a bit of emotion in him going, but I tell you what got me when Angelo Bonner come off.
Yes.
I was so emotional seeing that man come off, man. What a servant to this
Same as
club he has
Cresswell.
been.
Cresswell was the same. He came on, obviously.
Yeah, but Bonner, you know, he's 36 now.
Yeah.
And look,
I thought he was younger than that.
you know, defensively we've been a shambles, but he's everything into it.
But this is it,
everything.
right,
He's been
so,
unbelievable.
So, right,
for
I'm
us.
going to shock you now, right? We started this channel 10 years ago.
Yep.
You know that?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Nearly, yeah,
It's
nearly.
10 years now, right? First season we was there, Angelo Bonner signed. Mikel Antonio signed, and Aaron Cresswell signed.
No, Cresswell was
Cresswell
under
was
Big
already
Sam.
there.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
Cresswell.
the season, the end of the season was Cresswell's debut season, and then in that summer we signed Ogbonna, Antonio. That was the Payet.
Yeah.
But you think about them three players, they're still there.
Well, I think it might be Antonio's last home game. Isn't he up? Isn't his contract? Oh no, he got
No,
already get a new deal.
no, he's got a new deal, but I personally
Yeah.
don't think he's going to be there.
But no, and Angelo Bonner, I've seen him, you know, have some.
What a servant.
Yeah,
What a
unbelievable. He's paid
Mate, and-
he's paid through injury.
Yeah.
Everything.
Look, he gave his all for us. You know, every time he gave his all. You know, like you said, he played for injury. That season he had that serious injury where he needed the operation. He waited until we were safe, then went and had it done and all that. You know, so
He'll be up there as
I'm
one
gonna
of the.
say-
Yeah, he'll be
I'm
under there as one of the
saying go.
cult heroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The James
definitely.
Collins and all of that.
Yeah.
He'll be one of them that we'll always love to
and-
see back.
I
And
love
you know
that.
what?
Mate, Angelo is in my eyes,
the
club.
Ogfather.
I won't say a legend, but he's definitely a
He's
cult
a-
hero.
he's cult hero, yeah,
massively,
status.
massively. And you know what? I still think he can cut it. I think if he goes to Italy, something like that, I think he's got another
Italians
couple more.
and defensive
Yeah, exactly.
defenders,
He's
they
not-
go
yeah.
hand in hand, don't they?
His career
Right, Kurt,
don't have
go
to
get
be
some
over.
more beers, mate. Don't walk in front of the camera,
So
though.
useful.
Don't walk in front of the camera. Beer.
Asahi, please.
Don't get Scott one, he's got one.
Asahi, please.
No, I've drunk that
Yeah,
already.
the one you had, the Japanese one.
Quick,
Asahi.
hurry up, we're filming.
I'll have a
Sausage.
shandy, mate. I'm driving.
But yeah, so love. Listen, Creswell, same way. It took me a while to forgive Creswell for the Europa League. It was hurtful, but he's a West Ham boy. He's always going to be associated with our club as well. So yeah, wish them the best. And the positives, look, we turned it on today, and I'm gutted that.
Do you know what? Do you know what a big positive is?
What?
Oggy come off.
Who is that again?
Yeah.
Come on.
Earthy.
Oh, Earthy, mate.
No, not Earthy.
Oh,
Who's the young defender?
Casey.
Casey.
Oh, Casey.
Caelan Casey, come
Yes.
on. That's the passing of the tools moment now. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big old lump, Caelan, isn't he? But the George Earthy thing,
Mate.
it sort of starts to make me think, right? And I've said this over and over again. And I've said this before under Allardyce, right? There's sometimes in some games is all you need is enthusiasm and a hunger, yeah. And some games I look at it like the Chelsea game, for instance. There's no hunger there. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at it. I'm looking at Obon. I'm looking at Zoom. There's no hunger there. There's no hunger. The run that Casey made across the front line, that's hunger. And you've got a player there, Kudus, who's got the intelligence and the quickness to find him. And he found him. And that, for me, just sums up. Sometimes all you need is a will.
Yeah, definitely.
You
The
know what I mean?
fans.
All you need is a will.
Yeah, the fans all responded to him coming on, and once he got his goal, he was buzzing. But like
Yeah.
you said, he was moving around, he was making runs that
the
no one else on the
movement.
pitch was making. What I really loved about when he came on, you see how Paquetá was deliberately giving him the simple passes, like giving him a little feel and a touch of the ball consecutively.
At one point, they give a little 1-2 about 20
Yeah, 20
times.
times,
didn't they?
yeah.
Just to say,
Love
look,
that,
yeah.
love that, because it was giving him a feel in a real game situation, and I love that. And hopefully the kid's got a bright future ahead of him.
You know what? And that's the thing. And look, one of my big sticking points with Moyes has been not playing the youngsters more. But fair play to him on his last home game. As someone who doesn't play youngsters, decided to throw the two young lads on. Well, he didn't have to do that. He could have just carried on playing his way. So he did that. And
I
this
think
was
he
the
done it as a
point-
parting gift.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I think it was a
And that's
parting
the
gift.
thing. And what I was saying, I said this the other day, right, on the radios. And if, as a West Ham fan, if you're not getting the results, if you're not slapping teams and you're not competing high, but you're seeing young players come through, it gives you something to hang on to.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Some sort of hope for the future.
Yeah.
That, okay, things ain't going well, we're not high up in the league, but, Worthy's come on and scored a goal, or this player's. So even though that you've got that to hang on to, we haven't had good football, youngsters, or results this season.
Dan,
That's the problem.
That's such a great point, and you have to be a West Ham fan to understand that. If you're not a West Ham fan and you're looking in, or you're a journalist, it's like, say like TalkSport, for example, it's lazy journalism, right? One, it's lazy. It's almost like looking at a league table and saying, oh, well, you're sixth place, you should, oh, well, you're seventh, oh, you're eighth. You see, each week it was decreasing as we were falling down the league, yeah? But also as well as it being lazy, it's also sort of patronising and condescending.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, we should expect, we shouldn't have no aspirations.
But I
Do you know
think that's
I mean?
what the media does.
Yeah.
It wants to pin you down.
Yeah.
It don't want the likes of, like, and I mean this with the greatest respect, Aston Villa competing with the Man United. Yeah, how dare they take Man United's spot in the Champions League? Man United are the one that make the money.
No.
You know what I mean?
Do you know what I think it comes down to? Cheers, thank you. Ginger Carroll, what ledge? Yeah, what I think it comes down to is most of these people that say this have never been football fans, like we've been football fans. There we go. He's got the
In
medal.
honour of Ginger Carroll, he told me to wear it. So
He
I'm
got
wearing it
Ginger Carroll's. He reckons he got it off Moyes.
today. He got it off David Moyes.
He's got one, I knew it. But yeah, most of them haven't been actual football fans like we've been football fans. They have a team and they watch them, but they've always been in the media. So I think that's part of it. Another part of it is the only teams they watch on a regular basis is the Big Six. They don't watch West Ham every week. They don't watch Villa every week.
Dan, let's rephrase it properly. Not the Big Six, the Sky Six.
The Sky Six.
Sky Six.
Well,
not the
I
Big
did
Six.
the quotations
Yeah,
for
not
Big
the Big
Six,
Six.
but
They're
Sky
not all
Six.
big. So, one of them wants to be big, but realises they're not. Right?
Yeah. There's an
But-
imposter among us.
But let's be honest, right? When you look at what they do, yeah, and they sit there and now they clickbait massively in what they do, right? But you look at Southgate again. Right, look at Southgate, what he's done for England. Yeah, they'll sit there and tell you. Right, I'll sit there and tell you Southgate lost us that Euro final, lost us the World Cup semi-final, lost us the game against France in the quarterfinals, right? But they'll sit you and say, look what he's done. But then when you say to him, okay, what club's he going to go to next? When they're sitting there and they're a Man United fan or Arsenal, I can go Man United. Nah, he's not good enough for Man United.
Same in West.
Yeah, you can't listen to what them people say, because that's what I said. When it comes to their side, oh no, he's not good enough for us, but he can go to anyone else.
But this is this is a little argument I've had, and this is
You said this last week, didn't you? Friday Night
the
Pint.
top six. Yeah. So you get told by these Man United fans and these Arsenal fans, what do you want? What do you fucking want? Right? You're in the top 7, top 8, whatever it is. Well, we want better. The same as you want better. Yeah, but we're Arsenal. So what?
Yeah.
Man City weren't Man City. Man City didn't hold a candle to anyone. They're the best team in the world.
Yeah.
There's got to be a point where you want better.
Everyone wants better.
If you're around there, if you're 20th, I want to be 19th. If I'm 19th, I want to be 18th.
It goes back to the point I made in terms of the two things that Moyes has done, the stability and raise the hope and expectations. It's because we've had the personnel to basically be a team that could be where Aston Villa is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it's a fluke, whatever, we have like the Arsenal, the tools to basically do something like that, and we've had that for a couple of years. If used correctly. If you look at Kudus and Alvarez, for example, they've come from teams, or even say their last team, who play pressing football. You often see when Alvarez plays, although he's a DM, he's often the first player pressing, almost like a number 10 position. And Kudus is forever, when he gets the ball, he's forever in an advanced position where he's always going forward, right? They've come from that. So when they've come into this team and almost as a default have tried to do that, and Moyes has nullified that in some respects. You've seen how he's indirectly sort of thrown Alvarez under the bus. They've obviously had some kind of falling out based on whatever from last week, and he didn't play today. But this is a thing. If you don't fit into, or if you don't follow the instructions or fit into the mold of what he's going to do, you're going to then suffer. But listen, with all that being said, because I don't want it to come across like we're actually sort of dissing Moyes.
Bullying him.
Yeah, we're all grateful for what he's done in the 4.5 years, and in addition to that, I was very pleased that he got a good send off today. He got clapped off, and the Bobby Moore stand especially gave him a good send off and sung Super David Moyes.
The thing about that as well, and I'll say this, he went round right to the edge of the pit. I mean, listen, I'm going to talk about this fucking parade that they used to do. They used to come to the edge of the pitch. They used to shake their hands as they walk past. They don't even pass the touch line now. You know what I mean? And we're 20 fucking metres away from that. But he come to the edge. He clapped everyone. He looked emotional, which I understand. Listen, man, David, go and have a rest. You know what I mean? You don't need
think
this.
he's gonna,
you don't need people. I don't mean this. You've got enough money. You've seen enough. You've won your trophy now. Yeah, you've done a good enough job. Go put your feet up, sit there with your wife, go and have some meals with her. You don't need people like me and him down your fucking breathing down your neck every week. You've done a good enough job, mate, and you've left us in a good enough place. Like, go and have your flowers.
You were just saying he didn't leave us in a good place.
No, but I'm just saying, like, from when he come in,
he
hasn't left us in a good place, but he's done.
He can look
done his
back
job.
and be proud of what he's done at this club, and that's what I think he can do. He can say,
be
do you know
proud
what?
of the moments he give us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
you don't have to be right every time.
And he's going away with a medal. He's got a trophy. He's got his
first
name.
one.
Yeah, his
first
one.
I don't know what he won at Preston, but
nothing.
no,
That conference is his first ever trophy.
Yeah,
you've done it.
And his dad was there to see it.
You've
Great
completed
moment.
it. You know what I mean? Like, go and put your feet up, man. Like,
Listen, I think in terms of next season and in terms of let's call it the rebuild, it's almost a blessing in disguise that we're not in Europe, because I think it gives us.
It's a bit. I mean,
in terms of games and all that.
We're going to talk about Lopetegui, because that's who's coming in. Lopetegui.
Yeah.
Let's not fucking kid ourselves. Lopetegui's coming in, right? And I know that for a fact.
Yeah, I'm glad
So-
you can pronounce it. Apparently, Scott struggled to.
I turned around and said I'll find out.
He
Mate,
can't.
We've been doing this 10 years, mate. I don't think he's ever pronounced a foreign
Do you
name right.
remember Quixote?
yeah,
Remember
right,
that
so
player?
yeah, right.
Ki-
Sweet,
Quixote?
I still can't.
So instead of last night, I was waiting for you to come on so I know how to pronounce it properly. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Let's be honest.
And Ryan went with the J-Lo, so
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, just
J-Lo,
go
J-Lo's a good one.
He is something else when it comes to
What's
fucking
his camera?
names.
What's his peaking or saying?
1, 2, 1, 2. Who's
three?
number
Check.
3?
Me.
It's Scott, innit?
No, I'm 2, and
You're 3.
am I?
It's your.
You're peaking.
Yeah, Scott. Stop peeking, Scott.
You lot moan at me. I don't talk into the mic enough. I talk into the mic.
No,
You're still
I
moaning
think
at me.
it's something that way.
All right, well, in the Lopetegui,
Lopetegui.
I was sceptical. And do you know what I think it is? And I said this before. I don't think he's a bad manager. I don't think it's a bad appointment. The thing is, it's not the departure from David Moyes that we wanted. I think the football will be better, but it's not so drastically in the other direction that we wanted. It's not the exciting
Right.
new direction
So
that we hoped for.
okay, but the problem with that is that if you take a team that's been drilled to play this way and then go, right, I want to play this way, it just all
hard,
comes
isn't it?
crashing down.
It's hard, yeah.
You
Yeah.
need that
Transition.
right. Yeah, you need to have someone who's a bit defensive but knows how to play on the front foot.
The thing is, but most of these players, Scott, ain't going to be here. We're going to get loads of new players.
No,
that
but
have
you
been
see-
drilled
see,
by-
You
but
don't know
you're-
that, Dan.
but-
Because I thought the same, right? I think none of us could really know. I think what's going to happen is all of the players are going to come back. The loan players are going to come back. So your Ben Ramas, all of the Potts, all of those guys. And I think there'll be
Either of
meetings.
them are coming back.
Yeah, I think I think there'll be a conversation. At least there'll be a conversation with the new
I
manager.
think the good thing about a new manager is everyone gets. I mean, Matt
Yeah.
Cornet must be crying into his cornflakes this morning. You know what I mean? Like, we were talking about him the other day, and me and my brother were talking about him. What are you doing this weekend? Yeah, we're going away to Man City. What are you going? I think I'm going to take the dog for a walk. Might take the wife to the restaurant. And all that. He's literally had a. Listen, I won't mind being on his money, but.
Yeah.
He wants to play. He
And
wants
this
to be
is
playing.
the thing with the players. Players' careers are short. You can't be sitting on a bench for a year. You know what I mean? It's not fair.
Because at the end of the day, if we decide we don't want him anymore, him not playing is going to limit his options.
Yes.
So hopefully, look, Lopetegui can give him a shake, give him a chance, and give him, and every player, and that's what I was saying is, I said I'd have Fornals back, and that was massively controversial. Right, Fornals, and I know you
I would
said,
have him back. I
Runs
would have
around a
anyone
lot.
back.
Runs around a
I
lot.
know you don't rate him, Scott, but I think he's a good player who was played out of position for most of his time at West Ham. He was played on the wing, and I honestly think he's a quality player. And I think in a possession-based team, he could do well.
I just want to
And
clarify.
He loves the club.
Yeah. So I want to clarify why I was shaking my
There's a bit
head.
of passion
And it
in
wasn't the fact that I don't like Fornals or think he's not a good player, because I do. My thing was his time had come. He needed a change, and that was just basically down to David Moyes. It's very similar with Ben Rama. The fact that his move is a loan, he actually has a second chance. So if he wants to come back and sort of like stay at the team based on the new management, then fair play. But if we look at, I know we're moving forward, but just last point, in terms of our season this season was all messed up based in January. If we look at the January window where we had an opportunity, we've had that
The Phillips hater.
yeah, and
He
to
was
be
right,
fair,
he was right.
to be fair, no, but it was the one time I probably disagreed with Scott, because I actually thought Phillips, I thought it could have been a masterstroke, but in hindsight,
Disaster stroke.
yeah, completely. And January is where our season fell apart. But I actually feel Moyes was possibly stuck between a rock and a hard place, where he had two first team / squad players in Fornals and Ben Rama who wanted to leave, and he couldn't keep them for love nor money. There was no point keeping them, so they had to go. And the stubbornness was based on the fact that he didn't want to bring in someone that he didn't feel was going to make an immediate impact and
brought in Calvin
waste
Phillips.
money. And you could look at that and be like, do you know what? That stubbornness arguably cost us. We've heard all the rumours about Sahar being offered back then and him turning it down. We know he obviously had the history. We know he had the history at Man United. Yeah. I know the rumours, but then again, that story's come back around in terms of Sahar being a potential player to come in. So for me, our season, because the fact of the matter is, if you look at the league table now, after our result today and after all the results that have happened today, if you look at the distance between us, Man United, and even Chelsea, who've got a result this evening, it just goes to show we've only won 5 league games this year, and we were still in the mix.
It's been a poor league.
It just shows you how fucking shit they are.
It's been a poor league, I think, overall.
Yeah, and Dom, I didn't even really look at it that way. Dom mentioned that on the podcast, and he said anyone outside of the top 4 have basically been crap. And I looked at it and I thought, actually,
He's right.
yeah, and I never really thought of it that way.
Listen,
look at the state of
the only reason the top 4 is the way it is because so many teams have been so inconsistent.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And touching on what you were saying with January, that was Glenn Moyes' problem. He brings in a defensive-minded player.
West Ham scored.
You've got crowd here watching Eurovision.
He brings in a defensive-minded player.
Yes.
When what we needed was an attacking player. That is what we was lacking. You know, and that just epitomises.
I know you say that, but our defence went on to be shit. So maybe we did need a defensive player, but not that defensive player.
I just think he's always liked Phillips.
He wanted to pay 70 million for him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, you know. Look, my feelings on Phillips, and I'm so glad I was so right all the way through it.
The thing is, I don't think you were right about his quality. I still think
Really?
He's got no quality.
No,
Really?
No, but this is what I'm saying. I think
Really?
he's a quality player with a poor mentality. I think it is mentality.
He's a good championship player.
Yeah.
Look,
I think he's good.
When he's at Leeds next season in the Champions,
He has got talent.
when he's at Leeds next season, we'll see a good player.
Listen, going back to Locatelli, right? My views have changed now. Like, in terms of all of us, we all wanted Amaron. Like, every man and their dog, every West Ham fans wanted that and stuff. But I guess as time has gone on and the more I've heard and researched, I'm actually feeling a little more optimistic now. And I think we all know that change was needed. I actually watched a good podcast a few days ago, The Athletic, basically. They done actually a nice, balanced view on Locatelli and West Ham, but not the usual media spin on West Ham. Coming from a West Ham perspective in terms of knowing what we want and why, and then matching that with Locatelli's background history. I know other channels have had their links and have done interviews, but this one was the most informative one that I've seen to date, and it's actually raised my aspirations around the future. Do you know what I mean?
What was the key points that
I guess
got you more hopeful?
Yeah, I guess like in terms of key points, it was a few days ago, so yeah, I can't remember specifically, but it was the fact how he is as an individual, his integrity, in terms of how he deals with people and stuff. I think some of the information with these past clubs has been misinformed. I was talking to Scott about this earlier on. So in terms of his time with Spain, he didn't walk out on them to go to Madrid. He actually basically got taunted by Madrid, and what happened was Spain caught wind that he was going to leave them. So basically,
They just fucked him off.
They sacked him off basically, but put him in a position where he had to kind of step down and announce it, which therefore meant that he couldn't play that tournament. And his record with Spain at the time was really good. I think, as Scott said earlier on,
His record with when I said Watford the other day, it wasn't Watford, but his record with Wolves was decent.
yeah, it wasn't too bad. And out of all of the jobs he's been, it was
With
a
Wolves.
different. It was a different. No, but it was a different job, and I tell you why. Because out of all the jobs he's had with Wolves, he came into a situation where he had to firefight. The other teams he didn't have to firefight. He was with like established teams where he was playing for honours. With Wolves, he was firefighting, and as he was firefighting, things were changing along the way, where obviously promises were made with regards to personnel,
And
transfer
that's
kit.
what I like, is
Yeah.
that he had the balls to
Yeah.
say, you're not going to back me in a transfer window. You're not
Yeah.
going to give me signings.
This is
I'm out."
reputation at the end of the day.
However, the point that Scott made and counter-argued it is, if you're walking into West Ham and you've got Sullivan at the wheel, it's a situation whereby that situation could play out again. But I guess the difference is he's a coach, right? So he's coming in, Stighton, he's going to come in, and Stighton's going to be the one sort of like
It would not
making the
surprise me,
transfers.
with his reputation, Locatelli's, and Lopetegui, so
Yeah, I was like, what, Donatelli?
and Sullivan. If you just give him a load of waffle, got him in the door. In about 2 weeks' time, he turns around and goes, "Oh, fuck this! I'm not working with that guy."
No, but like then, but that's,
It would not surprise me.
But that's not a concern for me, because if he comes in and feels he's not getting backed and you want to walk, that's fine. I respect that.
Yeah.
Completely. My biggest concern has always been of him is style of football, because yes, he plays possession based. So did Pellegrini.
I don't know a lot about
and
him.
Pellegrini was boring because the possession base that he played was slow passing football. Pass it sideways. Wait for the opening. Wait for something to come up. And then you make your move. Whereas I want, that quick, trying to get the ball up the end as quick as possible, direct forward passing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's... Now he
You're not
does,
gonna get it. You're not gonna get
but
it,
what
yeah.
he does play is he'll try and play those triangles. Triangles, I think, is the big thing for him, and you'll see him. He'll sort of compete to one player who will play that one-touch pass for the other player to run through, which is good if that's there. But it's the playing out from the back, the passing around the defenders, waiting, patient football. I don't like that. As much as I don't like Moyes' thing, I didn't like Pellegrini's football.
But you see the way, we're looking at it on the telly now. They're so slow. Everyone's set. The opposition's set all the time.
But that's the difference. When you see the second half, there was times when it was boom, boom, boom. We were pinging them passes around. And this is the thing with the under-23s or the under-21s that you look at. That's how they're playing. And this is why them kids are able to step up into the first league, because they're playing like that. If you're going to get a manager to play like that,
But you know what we need?
The problem is, mate.
Go on.
No, go.
Is to have a setup where, and it's what Liverpool have done, where the youngsters play the same setup, the same style of football, same system as the first team.
But
Okay, now imagine that.
but
Even training in the
Imagine
same
getting a first
location.
team game,
Yeah.
watching that, and then having to go to an under 21 game like Dave does.
Yeah, we
Watching
went
that.
to the under was it under 18s FA Cup,
and it was good football.
How great was
Good
the
football.
Different. It was completely different to what
And-
they play
but-
in the first team. No wonder they can't get in.
But this is the thing for me, is that this is where modern football changes, right? So with managers have their philosophy of how they want to play, right? So you could be the best left back in the youth team, right? Potential breaking through, new manager comes in, he plays three at the back. You're done.
Yeah.
See you later on. You could be the best left back at the club, you're done, because you don't play left backs, right? Now, when you look at the models like Brighton and sides like, they play a certain style of football.
Yep.
Then they go, right, these are the managers we want, and they go and get them.
That's what I said on
for me,
FFP.
with all this Stighton being kicked out of the training ground and all that, I look at it now that we're now taking up that model, right, where Stighton's got new influence, and I do think this is a lot to do with Kaczynski, with the money that he's invested in the club and stuff like that. Okay, Sullivan he's the main man, right? We know
be
he's the
the
main
winner
man,
at the end of
but
the day, yeah.
he has backed the manager. He's given the manager the money. We can't sit there. I know he does what he does and he's dithering and stuff like that, but he has backed the manager. Moyes has had a lot more money than any other West Ham manager ever has. So now I'm sort of slowly thinking that, okay, normally it is a bit of a circus. I know I said what I said when he's walking into West Ham, but because we've got someone like Stighton, and to get someone like Stighton is a big coup for a club like ours, I just think now we're evolving, we're starting to think a bit differently, and I'm hoping that with this, the fact that it's a manager who is a bit defensive,
Well,
but
he's not
can
even-
play
that's
well,
it, he's a coach.
and of evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a coach, and that is the thing. Is you look at Europe, most teams in Europe use a head coach and don't have managers.
Yeah.
Britain have been, or England.
I don't know what the fucking difference.
Yeah, you don't know what the
Well,
fuck's going on.
so when you look at Alex Ferguson,
and
Alex Ferguson
Wenger
was a
as well.
manager.
He's a
Yeah.
manager.
Right,
He's
he-
the
total
model
control.
of a
Yeah,
manager.
that's it.
He controlled the
Yeah.
transfers.
Arsene
Everything.
Wenger.
Yeah.
Everything.
And the tactical breakdown on the pitch. Everything.
When you look at United's training under Ferguson, the coaches took the training.
Yes.
Ferguson just oversee it.
Yeah.
Now the head coach, you have someone like Stuyton, he's deciding the players, he's deciding how we play the system. The coach is there to train the players, get them ready, motivate them, get them out on the pitch, right? Europe, that's normal in Europe. For us, we've had to catch up to that. Now teams, I believe Eddie Howe's the head coach.
Yeah.
A lot of teams start. I think Chelsea. I think Pochettino might be a head coach. They've used it for a few seasons, so a lot of teams are moving towards that, and we're now getting to. So that is the positive for me, is that we're starting to come into, the modern
new
era.
age, the new age, yeah.
and actually evolve.
Rumour has it as well that with Almiron's interview and etc. is that basically he wanted total control, so he wanted the manager full sight. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it won't align with powers that be.
Go back to the game because we're going to start finishing up now. Good result in the end. I'm glad for the guy. I'm glad for the guy that he did end up at home on a high. Fuck knows what's going to happen next week. I'll be honest. Fuck knows
Mate,
what's going to happen
that
next
could
week.
be a record loss.
Or I won't even say it.
Don't you
No.
put that curse out there,
I'm not gonna-
Nicky. Don't you do that.
Or you know what I'm going to
Wait,
say.
can you imagine,
It would
right?
be the most West Ham thing to do, wouldn't it?
Oh, 100%. To nick a game 1-0 under David Moyes.
With 4%
Low block.
possession. One shot on target that's come off Antonio's arsehole was fucking someone else's. Has been,
Yeah, like his first goal for West Ham.
Yeah, like that. And we've
You would
faced
be
85 shots.
You would be surprised if Agerd and Mavropanos are back, and then therefore that kind of has a different take on the starting lineup.
I promise you all, it doesn't matter how much West Ham shithousery that we've seen in our lives, we are not getting anything from that game
agreed.
apart from a hiding. It does not matter.
Well, I'm going.
Sorry, but you're gonna. You didn't see them
Do you know
lift the
what?
trophy.
You can go.
You can
know
see
what,
them
you
lift
know
the trophy.
I don't think it'll be I said this when we were sitting down talking.
They'll do the
Right? I
job.
said
we won't impose it for it.
Whatever City need,
They'll get.
City will get. I'm sorry, we're not how we were last season, or not last season, the season before that, when we could go to City and lose 2-1. If City need a 1-0, City will win 1-0. If City need a 5-0, they'll win 5-0.
Yeah.
If City needs 10-0, they're going to win 10-0.
Look at our
It's-
players. They've come out and done their lap today. The season's over.
It's done.
There's nothing that we're playing for. There's nothing that beating
But that's
or
when they
getting
can
a point.
become dangerous.
Yeah.
Some teams,
But
I don't
also, when the pressure's off, and you've seen it before in the Premier League, a side that ain't got nothing to play for,
Yeah.
puts a performance in. I don't see it.
We've got a
I don't see
manager
it.
who's leaving.
I don't see
players
it.
that
Yes.
are leaving.
Yes. I don't
The
see
worst defence in the league, apart from Sheffield United. Mate, if we
Maybe I
did it,
was Declan a favour.
do you know what? I had to stop myself from saying something there that I would regret.
But also,
Forget Declan.
I'm going to sit there and say that the players have got a bit of professional pride.
Have they?
But where was the professional pride against Chelsea?
yeah.
Where was that against Palace?
Saying,
can't remember it.
but you
Fulham.
don't want that now.
These things as well, Scott. Yeah?
Where was it?
We could have finished above Chelsea still.
Oh, of course
we
we
could
could
have
have.
above Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been
Listen,
times when
listen.
we've been battered by Fulham,
I was
Crystal
saying-
Palace, and that where we could have cemented that place.
I was standing outside waiting for you, right? And a Chelsea fan come up and said to me, "Oh, how'd you get on last week?"
He
And I-
got done over by this Chelsea woman.
Right,
yeah.
and I
She
turned around and
was-
said,
oh.
we lost 5-0 to the worst Chelsea team I've seen in a decade. And that's what it was. Nicholas Jackson scored against us. That shows how bad we actually are, because that guy can't hit a bounce.
Easy, Scott. You've got the next season still, mate. You know what I mean? We're not finishing up this season.
Yeah, that's so. But yeah, no. Ultimately, look. As far as everyone's concerned, the season's done. It's not been the
mean, it's
best
done,
of
it's
seasons.
done,
It's not
it's
been the
done.
worst of seasons. I'm happy to have it over with. Onwards to the new era.
That's it, mate. That's how you got to look at it.
That's it.
Yeah, I think the stars have aligned, basically. Changed.
Happy days, you ain't got a drink, but
I
I've
got
got
a
a
drink,
drink.
sorry.
These lot of.
Cheers, everyone.
Well,
I've sort of out drunk.
All right, well, you can cheers
Yes.
it anyway.
all right, well, listen, we'll drink.
It's drunk 3 of them.
See? Mister, I'm only having Coke.
They were
I'm
shandies.
keeping this, by the way.
Yeah.
You can have that. West Ham.
Oh, you ain't got one, yeah.
Just
West
because
Ham
of the
fan
fact I've
TV,
got to drive, they were shandies, by the way.
glasses.
All right, so
You didn't have to tell anyone you was going to drive, but there we go.
Yeah, exactly.
no, I sort of sport that when Kurt brought me asked what we wanted. So yeah.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of this season on West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint. I know it's not been a regular. We got chucked out of our venue halfway through the season.
No, we got
made
no.
homeless
They're refurbishing.
revamping it.
So
Okay,
refurbishing.
but we've been made homeless again.
Yes, we can't seem to escape that. If you've got somewhere, we'll go.
Please give us a home.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this will become our new home.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for the Stonegate, the Stonegate pub chain and the sports bar and grill down here at Canary Wharf for hosting us today. Thank you very much for supporting us this season. I know it's been tough, and it ain't been as regular as it normally is, but we have had a lot of issues going on behind the scenes, and that'll all come out one day, I'm sure.
When we write the book, the West
When
Ham
we write
Fan
the book,
TV
yeah, but
book.
there's been a lot of issues.
Documentary.
Don't lose faith because
All or nothing West
because
Ham
it's all
Fan TV.
resolving itself. But there's been a lot of behind the scenes issues, a lot, and it ain't always been our fault. Some of it has, some of it ain't.
yeah, you got to take it on the chin.
Yeah, so but there we go. But yeah, it'll be resolved, and I'm sure we'll be back next season. But thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint. One thing left to say.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.